So hello everyone and welcome. Sally Oddy here is joining me for today for our beautiful Inspired Conversations podcast with me, your host Natasha Nicole Harris. I am usually here every Wednesday at 4 p.m, but we had a little bit of a mishap with the communication on the internet. Not our communication. Our communication was spot on, but the internet was not playing ball, so we didn't actually get to have our conversation on Wednesday. So welcome, Sally, and I'm really delighted you're here today with me.
I know. Sorry about that. I tell you what, let's start off with a bang. That is one thing about working from home that you need to always be aware of, that you are kind of at the mercy of your internet connection. And sometimes when it goes down, you just have to kind of give in to the fact that it's gone down and not stress about it, because it does happen.
Yeah, no, exactly. And it's just like, it's perfect, because I think that's the thing. I think many years ago, I probably would have stressed about that. God, I've promised to be here at 4 o'clock. Anyway, I did still show up. We did something impromptu, but it's just like, it is in the moment. And I think that this as entrepreneurs is something we have to start getting with. So anyway, if you don't know me, we're streaming live over a couple of different channels. If you don't know me, I'm Natasha Nicole Harris. I'm an intuitive business coach and healer. I work with the wisdom of the Akashic Records to support you in creating next level magic, success, wealth, leadership in your business going forward. So Sally, why don't you introduce yourself to our audience as they come on? And if you're watching the replay, please do type #replay. And also don't forget, ask questions, tag us. We're happy to come back and answer any questions. But Sally,
lots of questions, please. I love questions.
Yeah, we all love a question.
So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Sally Oddy. I'm a business and marketing mentor. I have over 20 years marketing experience. I opened my first business in 2012. And I have been solely in the online business space since 2017, 18, 19.
1 year prior to 2020.
Predominantly, I work with women who are creating online expert businesses. So that includes really coaches, mentors, consultants, healers, guides, but really anybody who has expert knowledge that they want to sell online and make a business of it. That has kind of become my speciality. So that's what I do, and I love it.
Yeah, and you're brilliant at it. And we've known each other for a little while. We've kind of like met through some kind of world somewhere. I've been interviewed by you. I've been on your month-long
you did Skill Up September a few years ago.
Yes, Skill Up September, that was it. And that was just phenomenal. I mean, the number of experts that you had on that was like incredible. So it was just a joy to be there. And so and we've just been connected for a few years now, and it's just been great watching our journeys develop and grow. And you're here today to talk about growing your business your own way. And for me, I find this is such an important part of the work I do with my clients and how we show up uniquely as you. But so I'm really excited to have this conversation with you from a perspective of doing this online, because that's not such an easy thing to do, is it?
Yeah, I think that's the thing. I think when a lot of people, it's funny actually, I've got a membership for female soulpreneurs, which I'll talk about a bit later. But we did a live mentoring session yesterday, and one of the women has just come from corporate. And she's just entered the online business world. So it's so interesting, actually, to be there for this beginning part of her journey. And one of the things that she said loud and clear yesterday was that the tech and the amount of things that you can do to grow your business feels overwhelming at first.
Yeah.
So I think there is a very steep learning curve. And I think you've got to allow yourself the grace that is going to be the case.
Yeah.
That it's not all going to, like Rome wasn't built in a day. Your business isn't going to be built in a day. You and I always say, release the timelines, hold it loosely. This is about lifetime growth and evolution and all of that good stuff. So I think coming from corporate, a lot of women feel a lot of pressure to be perfect, be successful, replace their corporate income almost immediately. And for some women that does happen. But for most women, there is a steep learning curve, especially when you're doing online business like we are.
Yeah, well, we end up just doing everything in our business, don't we? It's like, it's everything. And I hear what you say around it being overwhelming for people in the early stages. But I have to say, even like 7, 8 years in, I still find it overwhelming.
It's overwhelming at any stage. But I think that's why it's super important to be really, really focused, and a lot of people I talk to, help and support women who've been in business for a variety, different time periods. And what a lot of them say to me is, it is a bit like peeling an onion or like a roller coaster or whatever. Like there are all these kind of phases that you go through. And I almost feel like, and this maybe isn't the right thing to say, but I almost feel like it's a rite of passage to go through the flames a little bit, because even as a business and marketing mentor, I would never say to someone, do it this way, because the way that works for me might not necessarily work for you. So I feel the best thing that you can really do is find someone or a place that can guide you on what's available and what the best ways are.
Yeah.
And then you kind of have to go through that period of overwhelm where you're kind of trying everything and you're seeing what works and you're kind of experimenting. And this is what being a business owner is all about. You've got to be willing to try and find what works for you and kind of go through the flames of it a little bit. But then the key really is to find what works and double down on it.
Yeah.
And keep doing it. But also, something that worked last year might not necessarily work this year. So you've got to keep very, very aware. Like, you might have run a 5-day challenge last year that absolutely killed it for you, but it just doesn't seem to work again. So you need to be flexible as well, and like really open-minded to try new things for your business.
Yeah, that's just, that gives me goosebumps, because it's like, as entrepreneurs, we're like, when I get to this point, then I can sort of sit back and I can but it doesn't work like that, does it? And it is about keeping that flexibility, and it's keeping it fresh and moving with times and allowing ourselves to continuously grow and expand over time, as you said. And it's like, I love this idea of, it's like, it is about experimenting and seeing what's out there, what you like, because if you don't try a few different things, then how do you know what you actually love? Like, if somebody hadn't nudged me quite hard to come in and do more stuff online, in the sense of videos and being, forward facing and talking, I would never have done it. I was so shy before I started my business. I was like, I hated being in front of a camera. Like, if someone got a camera out, I would hide behind people. And I really got nudged to try it out. And I was like, I'm not going to do it. It's going to be awful. And they're like, yeah, this was a business mentor, a business coach. And it was like, he really challenged me, and I'm up for a challenge. And I was like, literally took on the challenge, only to prove him wrong, that I would be terrible and that I could prove my point. And I ended up loving it. And I was like, that was me going through the flames and eating a little bit of
but I think that's the thing with video. I mean, honestly, right now, if I could give one piece of advice to every online expert who's wanting to build this kind of business, is to start a YouTube channel. You've got to get comfortable with video. You've got to have a YouTube channel. Relying on social media is not a reliable business development avenue. And obviously we can go into this in more detail if you want to. But yeah, getting comfortable being on camera is so important. And I feel so lucky in some ways, actually, because back in 2016, I think it was, or 2015, I started my YouTube channel. It was beauty, lifestyle, and fashion. It was nothing to do with business. It had nothing at all to do with my business. But now that I've kind of morphed into this online business world, I feel like I've come armed with so many video skills and such natural comfort in front of the camera. But it is a learned skill. Like, the first few videos you do might be completely shite, and that's fine as well. Like I never watch a video back. I never not share a video I've done. So even if you look at it and you're cringing inside, just know that everyone else who's watching it is just interested to hear what you've got to say. They're not going to pick up on any of the stuff that you're critiquing yourself over. And just post it. Like, don't re-watch your videos, just post them. That's a big piece of advice. Actually.
You can start to get comfortable with rewatching them later on when you've picked up. But like you just said, like, the first few might be shy. I think the first 30, 40, 50 was shite.
It doesn't matter either. It shows your progression. So like my very first YouTube video that I shared, I think it was demonstrating a lip plumping kit. I filmed it in winter at night time in my little tiny office with my old computer. That the lighting was terrible, the sound, and I'm like demonstrating this lip plumping kit. That video has like 150,000 views or something.
Wow.
And it was like one of the worst videos I ever did, but I didn't delete it because it's actually making me money still today, like 7 years later.
Wow, that's amazing.
So don't let your vanity and your ego stop you
Yes,
from
that's it.
posting it and just leaving it out there, because I think sometimes the less polished videos actually get the biggest response because you're more relatable.
That's so true. It's so true. It's like if you show up as you, people will either resonate with it, will love it, or they won't, and they'll move on. And that's fine. You have to be comfortable with both of those. And I think that this is what the topic that we're talking about today is like, we've got to do it our way. We are unique and different, right? It's like, we've got to find our unique voice.
You know, some people come into this online space, and I often think when you're starting out in business, you either have a lot of time or a lot of money. It's very seldom that you actually have a lot of both. And so a lot of people come into the online space with money, and their instant route is to pay for ads.
Yeah.
Get fancy, expensive tech funnels and pay for ads. And for some people, that works really, really well. I have dabbled in that before, and the funny thing that came out of it for me was I did YouTube ads and stuff like that, and it was attracting all kinds of people from all around the world that I just didn't actually want to be working with. And I was like, okay, this is not for me, because the business I'm growing is personal. I want to know every single person who's going through my courses. I want to know who they are, what they're doing. I want them to be aligned with me. Like, I'm creating this business partly for me and my own enjoyment and fulfillment as well. But for some people, funnels, ads, like the tech route works really, really well. Others, it is the worst possible thing you could do. And I also sometimes think, you know, there's a lot of this, you and I have spoken about this a lot. There's a lot of this like rush to become a 6-figure business owner, rush to have a sellout launch, you know, where you've got hundreds of people coming into your program and all this kind of nonsense. To be honest, I think that is so detrimental for new business owners. Can you imagine when you started, if you had a group coaching program and 150 people joined?
Yeah.
Like, talk about burnout, collapse, nervous breakdown, breakdown. You know what I mean? Like, how would you have coped? You've got no delivery confidence. You don't quite know if your methodology is proven or not yet.
Yeah.
And then you've got 150 eyeballs on you who've all paid to you as the expert to do the thing.
Yeah.
When I first did my first online program, I had one person doing it, and thank God I only had one.
Yes, I think I remember having one person on a group program and going, this is great. Like,
and she loved it. And we did it live, we did it one-to-one.
Yeah.
I think she paid 250 quid. I mean, what value, you know, because I just poured everything into it. But that was a learning experience for me. I think that's also just a very, very important point to make, is everything is learning. Nothing is failing, nothing is stopping, nothing is tearing it up and starting again. You take every single experience that you've gained in your business as learning, and it all adds to what you're doing now. Without that, you wouldn't have this. So embrace the journey, you know.
It's so important, isn't it? And I think what you said there, you know, about everything is a learning. It's like, that's how we find out who we are and who we want to be. I look at my business, you know, 7 years in, might even be edging towards 8. And it's like, the person I've become along the way is like, it's phenomenal. I often look back and think, oh, 6 months ago, wow, gosh, like, that woman 6 months ago, like, is now here. And then I think to myself, I still feel like I'm beginning in some areas. Like, who am I going to be becoming in another 6 months and another 6 months after that? And it's like finding that joy, as you say, in what you're creating. We want to often fast track things, and then we forget about who we are and how to do it our way along the journey, right?
Yeah, I always say that having this kind of business is the opening the door and the biggest growth portal of your entire life, because there is really nowhere to hide. And a lot of people, this takes a lot of people by surprise as well. Like, the personal development journey I have been on over the past sort of 3.5, 4 years.
Yeah.
Like, I could have paid hundreds of thousands for this. You know what I mean? This level of therapy, healing, and introspection, you know, I could have gone to Tibet and stayed there for a year, you know. So you've got to be prepared to really look inwards, and you know, a lot of stuff's going to come up for you that you're going to have to heal. Like, honestly, childhood trauma stuff that came up for me that have nothing to do with running a business. But it was coming up for me. It was keeping me scared. It was keeping me stuck. It was keeping me small. And I had to take the time to figure out what that was and to move past it. So you've got to be willing to do some healing and do some work on yourself on this journey.
I couldn't agree more. Thank you for sharing that, because it's such an important part. I often say the most running a business, you will be confronted with who you are. There's no bigger reflection of what you need to move through than when you become an entrepreneur. Like, everything in your business will reflect something back to you.
No idea about comparisonitis, self-sabotage. I never thought that I was a particularly fearful person. I didn't think I didn't think I was a people pleaser. I didn't think I was scared of rejection or of failure or of success. I had no idea about any of this stuff. And that's because in the corporate world, you just put on a mask and do your job and shut up, you know, and you claw your way to the top. You don't have time for reflection, and they don't encourage reflection either. So you're just basically quite robotic. Well, at least that was, you know, I left the corporate world in 2012, so it's a long time ago. So hopefully things have changed. But when you're on your own as a business owner, there's nowhere to hide from this stuff. You know, you are being triggered every livelong day. And you have to learn to deal with that. You can't ignore it. You can't push it aside. You have to learn to deal with it.
Yeah, I totally agree. And it's like recognizing that as part of the journey rather than being in fear of it. And when those triggers come up, it's having the support network and the systems in place to be able to navigate your way around them. And, you know, that for me has been such an important element of like being in masterminds, being around coaches, really having that. I was describing this, I think, with a client yesterday. It's like, when you sometimes feel like you're just going to fall backwards, it's like, you know, you're going to fall, but you know someone's going to catch you. You might bruise an elbow or a knee on the way down, and then you're just going to get back up and keep going. And we become stronger like that, not diminished. I think sometimes when we keep going through these journeys of like healing, we feel like we're weakening ourselves sometimes, but we're not. We're actually strengthening ourselves. And this is, again, going back to like, you know, who we are and who do we want to be. Like, we could hide that on the entrepreneur journey, but if we do, we are going to be pushing, we're going to be doing the hard work route, we're going to be burnout, we're going to be everything that we tried to get away from when we left corporate, right?
Yeah. I mean, even when you think about like building muscle, when you're building muscle, it needs to tear and rip open in order to expand. It's the same thing with yourself in your own business. It's gonna hurt. It's gonna be uncomfortable.
It's gonna be really uncomfortable.
Really uncomfortable. But you know what the thing is, like, no change happens in your comfort zone. Change only happens when you've gone past the point of comfort. That's where the real learning and development happens. And if you're too afraid to be uncomfortable, you're never going to get anywhere. You have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And like you were saying, you've got to face this stuff. You can't run away from it.
No.
You know, I wish that you could.
No. Well, if we could magic that, we would really be multimillionaires.
I know.
Like running multiple 7-figure businesses, and that would be it. But it's like, there is no hiding from that, and it is uncomfortable. And, you know, and things come up again and again to allow us to move and expand and move beyond things. Actually, I will give my client credit for this, but we were talking about this yesterday in our little mastermind. And she then, like, we were talking about how things come up time and time again. And she just said, she's like, so when we see that thing coming, it's like, hello, my old friend, I see you. And I just loved that, because it was like, it brings a different energy to it. It's like, I see you. You're back again. Come on then, friend. Let's go. Let's keep walking and let's keep going. And I just love that. I'm going to encourage her to put a post out about that, because I just thought it was bloody brilliant.
You know, that's exactly right as well. You know, Personally, I think like personal development, spiritual growth, mental and emotional growth, it's a journey for life. It's not a one and done situation. If you've worked on your self-sabotage or comparisonitis last year, it doesn't mean it's not going to come up again this year. And I think what we've got to kind of switch our minds to think is that every trigger is an opportunity. Everything that comes up that feels uncomfortable, it's just opportunity calling. That's all it is. If you read a post and it's triggering you, like use that as an opportunity. Okay, like why is this triggering? Why is this pissing me off today? Why is this affecting me? Why has this made me feel so emotional? Like take even just a few moments just to sit and think, just to sit with it and think, okay, why is this coming up now? What's happening? You know, and then what am I going to do about it? You know, so everything is an opportunity. You know, when we're being triggered, when we're uncomfortable, when we're in fear, when we're in pain, when things haven't worked, it's all just opportunity.
Yeah. It's not fun though sometimes.
It feels like opportunity. You know that I've literally left you voice messages like in a complete tearful vortex, fearful panic. Oh my God, nothing. You know, and that's part of it.
Yeah.
But
and
then what 5 minutes later, I've messaged you going, it's okay, I'm fine now.
Yeah. But that's it, isn't it? It's like allowing ourselves and giving ourselves permission to release that. And we get to know who we are more and more and more as we walk these things. And then our businesses start flourishing because we know ourselves more deeply. We know what activates us, what triggers us, what brings us joy, what brings us excitement. And we can start, you know, infusing our business with that. It's like, this is how we grow a business and do it our way. And I really do believe, and it's not that it's, if we want the easy path, this,
it's not always. That's the thing. You know, I've worked with a lot of people who've worked with business mentors who've said, this is the 5-step process to getting 6-figure business. And without fail, every single person comes away from that kind of thing disappointed because also what's important for people to kind of remember, and I think it's not so obvious sometimes, a lot of the time when these big gurus are going, these are the 5 things I did to become a 6-figure business owner, they either started their businesses 10 years ago when social media was really just an infant, you know, and when actually creating a big online business was way easier because the whole landscape was different. So the things that worked for them, I often laugh when I see posts from people who've been going for ages when they say, this is how I grew 2,000 email subscribers in 2 weeks when I started. I'm like, that is so irrelevant for today. Like I can't even. Like, I want to write on it going, nobody download this. This is not relevant anymore. You know. So you've got to find your own way. What works for one person won't necessarily work for you. It just doesn't work that way.
That's so true, isn't it? And again, thank you for bringing that up because, like, when we look at things and like the experts, they're telling us how to do things that aren't relevant today, as you say. And it's like
it worked back then.
And then when we don't get the results, or only a handful of people within that container get a result, you're like, well, like, why can't I get this to work? And then we beat ourselves up. And it's not about beating ourselves up when something doesn't work. It's about, okay, what did I learn from this? What did I enjoy? What did I love? And then tweaking it and then shifting it into another direction or something. And this is what goes back, you know, to what we said at the beginning, was, you know, trying a few different things, giving yourself permission to try a few things, not too many, because that's like, that's crazy, but like trying a few different things and giving yourself permission to fail at some of them and go, that didn't work.
And also I think one of the difficulties is because we are online, everyone has this thing called spotlight syndrome where they think that everyone's watching everything they do really carefully and really closely, and everyone's like examining everything under a microscope. And the truth of the matter is everyone's just worrying about their own damn selves. Like no one's actually paying that close attention to what you're doing. So oftentimes if you're going to run a challenge or if you're launching something and it hasn't quite got the result that you wanted, your instant thought is that all the spotlights are on you and all the people are going, oh my God, did you see that Sally ran that challenge and she only got 10 people in? Oh my God. Like no one is thinking that. And if they are, you're like, you know, fuck them. You're like, you don't need that in your life anyway. You know, but we often think that these little setbacks or things that don't quite work is a huge public failure. It's not. Looking closely. It's all learning and it's all in how you what you're attaching to when you're taking the action, and then how you process what's happened. You know, if in your mind you're like, nothing is a failure, it's all about learning and opportunity for growth, then having 10 people in your challenge, it's like, oh my God, I've got 10 people.
Yeah.
I've got 5 days with 10 people who've stepped forward, like, oh, the opportunity here is phenomenal. Trust me, oftentimes having 100 people in your challenge isn't as good as having 10.
Yeah.
Don't let those numbers and what other people are doing kind of make you think that your thing is failing because it's not looking like that, because it's not.
Yeah.
Only if you let it be failing, then it's failing.
Yeah. That's the important point, isn't it? Yeah. And this is such an important conversation, because even though we've talked about this many times, it's just still getting things that are really just like, yeah, okay. And it's just, we cannot remind ourselves of these things often enough, because we do forget. We're human beings, and we have memory loss at the things that felt difficult. And then when we bounce back into them again, we're like, oh, what's this doing here? I've forgotten how to navigate my way around it. And we panic, and it's okay. Like we really are okay when we're just keep taking the steps and discovering who we are. And even when we've been in it for 20, 30 years, you know, depending on how old we are, of course, you know, it's like, still we're going to be wanting to learn. I don't want to be 50 in 5 years time going, I know it all, great, fine.
Exactly.
You know, I still want the learning and the growth and the capacity for that. And that's so important. And we can say we want that, but in reality, in the back of our minds, we're going, yeah, but I want it really easy and I don't want any challenge. But like, if we don't have the challenge, then it's like, then we don't have that spark of creativity that goes along with it.
I think what you just touched on there is really important as well. I think there's always more depth. That's what I say. And actually, you and I had a conversation just recently about how sometimes it feels like everything, like nothing is working, everything is broken, I've got to start from scratch, but you never are. All you're doing is drilling a deeper depth, you know, because everything that you've done before is still there. It's all still imprinted everywhere. But there's always more depth. You know, it's like you and I have so many conversations where we both say, I know this, but this feels like it's hitting different, or this feels like something else is resonating here, something else is clicking in, because there's always more depth we can go to. And to be honest, I mean, you know, everyone's different. Some people might hate the sound of this kind of stuff, but for me, that's my reason for living. I'm an explorer, a discoverer. Like, I want more depth. I want to know what the next thing is. I want to mine into the deepest possible levels. Like, when I die, I want no stone left unturned. You know what I mean? And if I say, that's it, I'm done, I've learned everything I need to learn, this is it, this is my business, this is how I'm going to go for the rest of my life, I mean, I may as well pop my clogs now. Like, how boring is that? Yeah, no, I couldn't agree. And it's, you know, it's like what when we said what we were going to talk about today, and it's like you said something along the lines of like, it's listening to your soul's calling. It's listening to those whispers that can sometimes feel a bit quieter, can't they? And just like, they're a little bit more like, there's just a resonance, and all the other stuff that's going on in our head is like loud and shouty. And it's like remembering to slow down so that we can listen to that soul voice, that soul's calling of like the gentle nudging, keep going, because that voice is always there. I think that's a very, very important thing to, when you're feeling overwhelmed, when you're feeling like you've got too much going on, you're doing too many things, nothing is making sense, nothing is working. Honestly, the best thing you can do is stop. Completely and utterly stop. And there's a few questions that I always kind of go back to when I'm in that place. It's like, why am I doing this? What do I want to get from this? How do I want this business to look? What do I want to be doing every day? Who are the people I want to be serving? What's my zone of expertise? Like, what do I want to be known for? You know, just really stop and clear all the trash away for 5 minutes and just ask yourself those fundamental questions. You know, it's even like things like, you know, like question yourself, do I actually want to be running 5-day challenges? Yeah. Do I want to do live launches? I don't know what made you crack up there. But like, is this what I enjoy? Yeah. You know,
Yeah, because we
massive
may have
results.
enjoyed it, but we
Yeah,
might not enjoy it anymore, but we still keep doing it because,
that's it.
and it's
Like
so
flogging a dead
true.
horse. So it's like, yeah, something might have worked, but did it feel good?
Yeah.
Is it something you can maintain? Is it energetically aligned to who you are as a person? When you think about your business in 5 years' time, do you still want to be doing that thing? Or do you actually want to create your business and build your business in a different kind of way? And that's a very important point as well. Like, how do you want it to look in 5 years? Do you still want to be doing all the things on the treadmill of lead magnets and challenges and free masterclasses and workshops? If you do, great.
Yeah.
Keep going. But if you
Yeah.
don't, you've got to find another way.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. No, I
think about
couldn't
what your
agree.
life is going to look like.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just, it's allowing that everything to evolve rather than the need to get it right. And
Absolutely.
then it's
There is
like,
no right.
there isn't, is there? And
Even
there's
I
no
think
wrong. So it's like,
even
yeah,
people
it's
who
just evolving.
even people who do have those amazing 6-figure days, those bottle popping 6-figure days that you hear about, it doesn't mean they've got it right. It means they've got it right now. That's all it means.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
they didn't have it right yesterday, or might not have it right tomorrow. If today's the only 6-figure day, you know what I mean? If they've really got it right, they'll be having 6-figure days every single day.
Yeah.
You know, it's right now, and that's what you've got to focus on. This is right for me right now. It might not be right for me next month, and that's fine as well.
That's it. And I think that's something that we've talked about, and I've been talking about actually quite a lot this week, is that, you know, we are where we are.
Yeah.
That's what's important. Notice, acknowledge that, do what's needed in the moment to move you to the next step. Like, that might be slowing down, that might be stopping, it might be taking like a random day off and going, you know what, today I just need to be.
Yeah.
And, you know, everything can wait. Everything, like, it, when I slow down, I'm amazed that I still get the same things done that I would have done if I'd have felt like I'm busy. And I'm like, how does that work? But every single time that happens, and actually what I do is create more, because I create more space for something else to come in rather than just the. So yeah, I mean, like, such a valuable conversation. And it's like, even when I know that, you know, we've talked about this as well, but even when we have those moments of like, like nothing's working, this feels like I'm gonna give up, I'm gonna walk away, it's like, it's those moments of like knowing that we're gonna keep going. It's like, we're in this, we're okay, we're safe, we're already you know, impacting and creating change in the world. And it's like, just keep going, keep moving forward, take a step, take what you need, take a breath, take a beat, and then take another step and see where that lands.
And just keep focusing on your why. Like, why are you doing this? What does this mean to you? Like, in my lowest points, I think maybe I should go back into the corporate world, and that stops me dead in my tracks. And then I know I'm going to keep going.
I'm gonna do it, and we're gonna, you know,
literally kills part of my soul. So that's not going to happen. So I have to keep going. You know, it's like, what is your why? Why are you doing this? What does it mean to you? Like, we just need to keep coming back to that, because it can be really difficult at times.
Yeah. And this is how we find who we are, isn't it? And how we find how we want to do things, our uniqueness in things. Stop looking at what everyone else is doing, and just being okay with who we are and growing from that place. And I just think that that's such a gift. And I think we forget that so often. I know we've gone through moments where we've forgotten it more recently as well. So whatever stage of the journey you're at, just remind yourself that it's okay to be in that space, and just come back to yourself.
Yeah. And what a privilege that we are actually able to do this as well. Like, a lot of people, you know, are employed in the corporate world, and they literally have no choice. They have to stay on that hamster wheel. You know, we are so lucky, so privileged, so fortunate that whatever your circumstances are, you're in a position to be able to pursue your life's passion in this way. A lot of people don't even get this. A lot of people don't even know this is a option, or, you know, don't get the opportunity. So even when things are really, really hard, you've chosen this for yourself. You know, and try and find the beauty and the gratitude in it.
Oh, yes. Take a moment to soak that statement in. You know, that's it, isn't it? It is So beautiful. So, oh my gosh, thank you so much for this conversation. It's been really, yeah, just reaffirming for me as well to have it. And I hope that, you know, I'm sure that people who've been watching and those that will watch on the replay will get so much from it. And just as a little reminder, I think we need these reminders. We know it. We know it. Even if we're at the beginning, we kind of know it, but we just
know it, but we remind each other of it all the time as well. So
exactly. So there's never any, you know, anything wrong in that. And it's like, yeah, it's just such a beautiful reminder. So thank you for that. It's just a nice way to end the week on a Friday. I'm like, it's Wednesday afternoon. I'm like, no, it's not. It's Friday morning.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's really cool. But Sally, just let people know, where can they find you if this kind of resonates with you? Just give us a quick synopsis of your membership, which I know is just like beautiful. Amazing. And loving seeing how that's blooming.
There are two things I want to mention, actually. The first is my gorgeous membership. It's called the Soulpreneur Success Hub, and it's a very intimate community where sort of really passionate and purpose-driven women who are building these online expert businesses come together and support each other. And I have to say, it's been going for just over a month now, and the support and kind of sisterhood camaraderie inside the membership is literally everything I could ever have dreamed it was ever going to be. So that's beautiful in itself. But there's also obviously a lot of mentoring by me. I do live Q&As. We have mentoring sessions. All of my brand new courses and resources go into my membership for free as part of the membership. It is just a beautiful place to be guided and supported to keep the course, stay focused, and take that steady, focused, strategic action. So if anyone who's watching wants to know about that, just type the word membership down below and I will send you the details. We've got £15 founder memberships available, so that's incredible. And then the second thing I just want to mention is a brand new course I've just released called Beyond Social, and it's for anyone who wants to stop relying on social media to grow their online expert business and move more into global search. It's the exact how-to of how to do that. So again, if you're interested in learning more about that, just type the word social or Beyond Social or course or something wherever you're watching this, and I'll send you details of that as well.
Fabulous. And tag Sally as well, so that she gets that notification. And across whatever platform, and we will get back to you. But yeah, if you've got any questions, like if what's resonated with you during this conversation, we'd love to know. We'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Where are you at? And share that, and let's keep the conversation going, and let's keep supporting each other. And Sally, thank you so much for this conversation. We could have gone on for several hours, as we sometimes do.
Fast. It's always a joy talking to you. Thank you for
always a joy.
Really appreciate it.
Yeah. So thank you, everybody, and I will see you again next Wednesday for the Akashic Business Wisdom Show. Next week, I am actually doing a masterclass on business energetics and energetic mastery. So come and join me for that if you are in my Facebook group, Soul Aligned Leaders. We stream live in there. So come and join that, or sign up for the link and join me on Zoom. Thank you again, Sally. Have a beautiful weekend, everybody. Thanks for watching us live. Thanks for watching the replay, and we will see you again soon.
Bye.
Bye.